is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have another OU match just because I think I might as well give this team a couple more tries here. This one is against Lewis, and right off the bat I noticed that I am going to have some trouble with his team. He's got that Landorus, which is to be expected in OU, but other than that I know that I will struggle with his walls. I don't have a whole lot for Chansey. I know that Rotom Wash is going to be annoying as hell. He's also got Mega Venusaur. Overall, some pretty big threats. And this is really going to kind of test my knowledge of OU. So let's go ahead and just jump right into the battle. Alright, so kind of unsure of what he wants to lead off with. I'm going to toss out the old Lava Cookie as he actually ends up leading off with this damn washing machine. So I know that he's probably going to go for the Volt Switch here, but if he does decide to stay in and go for the Hydro Pump, I can't take it because I'm specially defensive. So he actually ends up staying in, goes for that Hydro Pump, and it is going to do about half to me, as this does allow me to get up a nice little Toxic. The reason why I went for that was because I was hoping it would land on the Rotom, and that it's going to make my life a whole lot easier in taking this thing out, because I always seem to struggle against Rotom Washes, especially with this team. So it's nice to get the Toxic on that thing. Unfortunately, I don't want to stay in and take another Hydro Pump, so I decide to switch into my Tangrowth here, as he actually ends up going for the Volt Switch, which is a nice play, because now he gets a matchup, and that is not too good for your boy, because this now allows him to freely go into this Mega Venusaur, who is a great check to Tangrowth, seeing as I can't really do anything this Tangrowth is supposed to do. I can't Sleep Powder, knock off because it's got that Mega Stone, so overall I do have to switch out here. And I'm really hoping that he ends up going for the Sludge Bomb here, which would do a lot to Tangrowth, so I decided to switch into my Heatran, as he is going to go ahead and Mega Evolve here and grow into, you know, just a nice little overgrown-ass Venusaur. And unfortunately, he actually ends up going for the Leech Seed instead, which does kind of suck, but it could be a little bit worse, I suppose. So Cookie is going to get nice and seeded there, but at least this does allow me a chance to set up my Stealth Rock. I know he is going to want to switch out here, fearing the Fire move. So I do go ahead and go for that Stealth Rock, as he's actually going to end up switching right back into this damn Rotom, who I know is probably carrying Defog. And that is a bummer, but at least it's going to force him to go for that and allow me to kind of try to make a play here. So I get those rocks up, as I'm still in here Leech Seeded, so this thing's going to eat some leftovers, get poisoned, and then take health from me. So overall, nice little health exchange going on here, as Leech Seed's just annoying as hell. So I love how he opens his little washing machine flap. He's like, oh yeah, bring that shit in here. So I am going to end up switching out here. Obviously, Heatran has no business staying in, and I decide to go into my my Magnezone. So he does go for the Defog there, gets rid of those damn Stealth Rocks I worked so hard to get up, and you know, that's kind of a bummer. But at least now this Rotom is kind of forced to switch out here, and I was very much hoping that he would try to bring in this Landorus. It would be a little bit riskier of a play because he does have some good special defense walls. As you see, he brings in the Chansey. But I was really hoping he'd bring in that Landorus, as I'd catch it with a nice little Specs Flash Cannon. It would give him some great momentum if he did go into the Landorus and I went for an electric attack. But the damn spoiled ass green egg comes in here, and I don't really have much business staying in. So I do decide to switch into my Pinsir here, as he's going to set up Stealth Rock of his own. Which really does suck, because like I mentioned in the last video I was using this team, this Mega Pinsir, actually, I forgot to give it an odd amount of HP, meaning I can only switch into Stealth Rocks one time. So that's why I really should have some hazard removal on this team. But that is, you know, that's kind of my bad on my end. So he is going to bring in the Landorus here as I Mega Evolve. He gets an Intimidate, but honestly, Pinsir's not afraid of shit, as I do go for a Return here, and it shows me it actually ends up doing exactly half, which is amazing. So now I can scare this thing out with another Return. I'm expecting a switch into that damn Rotom Wash again, so I decide to switch into Nudes, kind of expecting that, as he is going to end up switching, and the washing machine does come out. So at least Nudes has a good matchup here, but this is kind of a difficult situation because he has a lot that he can bring in on my Tangrowth. I can't really freely go for a Giga Drain or a Sleep Powder or anything, because he can bring in that Venusaur, and I'm kind of put in a tough position here. So I decide to end up double switching yet again. I go into the UFO, really kind of hoping that he goes into the Venusaur, but he's actually just going to obviously Volt Switch, which allows him to see what I go into, and then he can kind of bring in a matchup accordingly. So this is a bit of a tough match. This team really kind of gives me a run for my money, as this now allows him to bring in his Blacephalon. So the weird-ass lollipop-looking clown thing, honestly, this thing just gives me the creeps. I decide I'm going to go into Heatran here, hoping that he goes for the Flamethrower to activate my Flash Fire, but he is smarter than that, and he just goes for the Shadow Ball, which is going to knock me out. So Now I don't have any way to set up my own stealth rock, which is kind of a bummer. But I do feel like that play was worth it. Had he gone for the flamethrower, it would have put me in a good position there. But at least now I'm able to bring in a revenge switch, and I'm going to go into my Alakazam here as he's going to end up just switching in this damn Chansey on a Shadow Ball, and I freaking hate this Chansey because I really don't have much for this damn thing, as I'm going to end up just switching right back into my Tangrowth. And my plan here was to go for a knockoff, get rid of this thing's Eviolite, and then that'll make it a whole lot easier to take care of. I do have low kick on my Greninja, and then Pinsir is probably the best thing to take care of this. But I do have to play my Pinsir carefully because I can't switch into rocks twice. So he is going to end up switching out here as he goes into the Landorus. I actually believe I end up double switching here as he brings this thing in. He is going to intimidate me, and yeah, I do actually go for the double switch. I'm going to bring in my Pinsir. So this is actually good. I noticed that the last time this matchup happened, he ended up switching out, which showed me he probably isn't Choice Scarf to be able to hit me with like a Stone Edge. So I can freely go for the return there as he ends up just switching into the damn Rotom again. And 2 returns is unfortunately not going to be enough to take this thing out. And I'm kind of pushed into a corner because now I can't switch out Pinsir because I died the next time I come into Stealth Rock. And I'm really looking back at myself and saying, why the fuck didn't I put Hazard Removal on this team? That would be pretty damn helpful. But I just end up going for another return. At least I'm able to whittle this thing down to make it easily killable later, as he's able to then finish me off with a Volt Switch. And down goes my Pinsir, which was kind of my win condition against that Chansey. Now it's going to be kind of an uphill battle. But he ends up going into the Blacephalon yet again, and this allows me to go into my Choice Scarf Greninja. I know that this thing is probably not going to want to stay in here, seeing as I am faster. So I decided to go for the U-turn here, as he's going to bring in the Venusaur, which does give me a nice little pivot, which will allow me to go into my Alakazam. But the only thing about that is that he just has that damn Chansey, and it's like really, it's impossible to kind of get some momentum going here. So I do get that pivot there, allows me to bring in the Serial Killer, ready to just absolutely fuck up some cereal. And I'm going to go for the Psyshock as he ends up going into the Rotom here, which he is going to sack off, which is kind of nice, I suppose. It's always good seeing a Rotom Wash go down, so the Psyshock is going to take care of that thing, and at least I got that thing out of the way. So now he gets a free switch. He is going to end up going into the Bisharp here. And so I'm going to stay in because I am Focus Sash. I know that I can take anything this thing wants to throw at me, so I go for the Focus Blast, and that is going to knock it down to its Focus Sash, which is fine. I was expecting him to go for the Swords Dance here, thinking I would switch out. So he does go ahead and dance around with some swords there, and even if he goes for the Sucker Punch, I will be able to live it. But he actually, to my surprise, doesn't click Sucker Punch, and then I can finish this thing off with a Shadow Ball. So hey, I was able to knock out the Bisharp, which is a big threat, and I'm not getting Swords Dance swept today. So now he brings in the damn egg. Look at this. I hate Chansey's face. He's just sitting there smiling. He's like, you know there's nothing you can do against me. It's just, Chansey's so damn annoying. But I'm going to go ahead and switch right back into Nudes because this is my best matchup here, as he actually ends up missing a Thunder Wave, which honestly I forgot that was a thing. They changed the accuracy of Thunder Wave, and that's pretty nice that he ended up missing that. So now I can just go for a knockoff here, try to land on the Chansey, but he is going to bring in this Landorus. It does intimidate me, so knockoff's not going to do much. Plus, he is holding a Z Crystal. Seeing as I didn't knock off an item there, it shows me that he is going to be some type of Z move. So I decided to stay in and risk it, hoping that it's going to be like Continental Crush or something, which I will be able to hopefully live. But he goes ahead and gets nice and angry, and it shows me that it's going to be the Supersonic Sky Strike. So that is pretty much worst case scenario. I don't know much about Landorus's and OU, but apparently Supersonic Sky Strike is actually pretty popular, and that is going to be able to knock me out. So I probably should have played it a little safer with my Tangrowth, knowing I really needed to save that thing for that Chansey. But honestly, I just did not have much to switch into this thing. At least now I have a free switch into my Greninja, and I know that he's going to switch back into that damn Chansey, so I end up going for the U-turn here. And I really just need to whittle this fucking thing down. If I can manage to knock out Chansey, and also keep the Focus Sash on my Alakazam intact, there is a way that I can win this. So I decided to go into the UFO, and I'm thinking my best play here is to probably just go ahead and spam some Flash Cannons. I know that so there is a chance to get a special defense drop, and with the choice specs, if I can get that, I should be able to have a good time here. But he just goes for the Seismic Toss. It's going to take him 2 more to knock me out, so I'm going to actually end up going ahead and switching back into my Greninja, hoping that I could land some pretty decent damage with low kick. Even though Chansey's going to be EV trained for physical defense. And he ends up going for the damn soft boiled there, so he eats some more eggs. and he is back at full. So I really need to whittle this thing down, so I do go for the low kick here. Transform into that young fighting type, and it does, you know, about 40%. So that's not what I wanted to see. I really needed to knock off this thing's damn Eviolite. But he is going to end up switching out here again as he has this Blacephalon. He figures it's too safe of a play for me to stay in and go for the low kick again. So he brings that thing in. Obviously, Ghost type doesn't affect, and I do have to switch because Greninja is going to be really useful against things like the Landorus, and I have to kind of save that thing. So I decide to sack off my Magnezone just because it looks like it's kind of the least useful Pokemon I have at this point, and at least this will allow me a free switch into my Alakazam. So that thing goes down. He is going to get that special attack raise with the Beast Boost, and this now allows me to go into my Alakazam. So I'm kind of hoping that he ends up staying in here and going for a Shadow Ball, thinking that I'm not Focus Sash. But he's actually going to end up switching into this Landorus, which is kind of nice because the Psyshock is going to be able to take this thing out, and I've still got my Focus Sash. So Alakazam's looking like my last hope, and there's definitely a chance. So down goes the Lando, and he has 3 left. I've got 2 at this point. So he brings back in this Chansey, and seeing as it's kind of whittled down a little bit, I figure I'm going to try to go for a Focus Blast, which was actually kind of a dumb play because Psyshock ends up actually doing more. So that doesn't do much. This thing cracks open another damn egg, and I hate your face, Chansey. You weird little feeler ear things, and just everything about you. I hate it. So I go for a Psyshock here, hoping that maybe I'll get like a crit, just some decent damage. Knocks it down to almost half, as now he's going to go for the Thunder Wave, which at least I have the Magic Guard ability, which is going to make it so I won't get fully paralyzed, but it does still half my speed. So that is kind of a bummer. As I go for another Psyshock here, it gets that thing pretty damn close, as here he's going to go for the Seismic Toss, and that was pretty damn huge because that's now going to make it so my Focus Sash is broken, but at least I'm able to freaking Psyshock that thing to death, and I killed the Chansey. So in my book, I'm happy. So that's amazing, as now he's able to bring in the Blacephalon. Unfortunately, since I am paralyzed, I'm slower, and I don't have my Focus Sash, so he's able to then just go ahead and throw a Shadow Ball at me, which does kill me. And I really needed my Focus Sash to stay intact there, but unfortunately, wasn't really a scenario where I was able to make that happen. So now all I can do is go into my last Pokemon, which is my Greninja. And unfortunately, I actually don't have Hydro Pump on this thing. My best option is like Gunk Shot. This moveset on this Greninja is not really too fit to handle Blacephalon, so I go for that. Unfortunately, it's not able to knock it out, and then he can fire off a Shadow Ball in return, and that is going to end up knocking me out. But this battle actually turned out to be way closer than I initially thought it was going to be. Also, at the end there, even if I was able to knock out that Blacephalon with like a Hydro Pump, he did still have the Mega Venusaur. So alright, that's the end of the match there. Honestly, I did make some pretty bad plays. Definitely got outplayed there. This team was pretty damn scary. But overall, I am having some good fun in OU, and I'm trying to learn some things. So go ahead and hit that like button on this video if you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.